Okay, hi folks, and welcome back to Ricoh GR 102. In the previous video, I showed you how to get and use a HDF highlight diffusion filter on your regular Ricoh GR3 or your GR3X using a NISI filter kit adapter. The Ricoh, if you buy the newest Ricoh now, the HDF version, you then have a camera with a physical highlight diffusion filter built into the lens. It also has a built-in ND filter, and it has several digital filters that you can apply when shooting in JPEG or RAW Plus, and you're applying one of the, especially for the black and white. Okay, so let's take a look at filters. I bought the NISI filter kit. I'm not going to go over everything for this video, but I will refer you to links down in the description down here to previous sessions where I've used the NISI filter kit. And so let's go over a couple of filter types and have a quick discussion of what they are. So we'll start off with the simplest, the UV filter. Now the UV filter is supposed to filter out sky haze, atmospheric haze, and yeah, generally for outdoor shooting. This camera, this analog camera, has a Hoya 49mm skylight filter on. This is a UV filter, and I only use it to protect the glass. That is what most UV filters are being used for today, to protect the front element of one of your beloved lenses. That's about it, really. I wouldn't use one of those on the Ricoh. It is a 49 actually, so it will fit on the front of this. So I could, if I wanted to, walk around with the filter adapter on all the time, like that, and then attach the UV filter and maybe protect the camera a little bit from dust. So, but then it would defeat the purpose of this camera. I think it wouldn't be pocketable anymore. So I would only use the filter and the filter adapter when I'm purposely going out shooting with something in mind. I wouldn't attach the skylight filter to this. But just a word of caution before we go any further. When you do use the NISI kit, this is quite short. When you switch it on, you can see the lens extends. It doesn't hit the glass, but in macro mode, I have found that if you just look now, where I switch on, if I activate macro mode now, you can see it extends about another 3 to 4 millimeters. And I found that it does actually touch the glass, and in the long term that might not be so good for the mechanism that pushes the lens barrel out. Polarizing filters next. Well, a polarizing filter, I've got one in the NISI filter kit. Light travels in waves like this, but also up and down like this. So a polarizing filter is usually used to cut down on reflections from things that are not metallic. So water and glass, windows, etc. like that, ponds, the sea, they can cause reflections that make it impossible to see beyond the surface. And a polarizing filter will let you attach a piece of glass to the front with the holder like that, and then you slide one of the pieces of glass in there. You just put the glass inside the filter holder like that, pop it in, attach that to the front, and then it can be turned. And the polarizing filter is designed to block out vertical light, horizontal light, the way the wave is coming into the camera. And it will reduce some reflections, and you can turn it until you're satisfied with the reflections that it is reducing. It also can increase contrast. Some people like to use them for landscape photography because it can also increase contrast and when you're looking up at blue skies with clouds and things like that. What you get with the NISI kit is the adapter, a little carry pouch with six pieces of glass, various types of glass, ND filters, polarizing filters, graduated ND filters. I'll just show you one of those. A graduated ND filter looks like that. So it's dark at the top, light at the bottom, and you would put that in the camera like that, so that this darkens the sky, and kind of the goal of the graduated ND filter is to even out or reduce the what's it called, the dynamic range of the shot. If you've got a very bright sky and then something in the foreground, at the bottom half of the image, like a much darker landscape, then the ND filter is there to just bring down the lightness of the sky, even out the dynamic range, and help the camera out that way. Okay, so that's a graduated ND filter. So we might as well now tackle regular ND filters. Well, this is an ND filter here. And ND filters have ratings. You can see it's a dark piece of glass, goes in front of the lens, and the whole concept of an ND filter is to reduce the amount of light hitting the lens without changing the color, and depending on what type of shot you're going for, without you having to do too much to change the way you expose the image. So let's say you want a shallow depth of field, open that lens wide up, f2.8. If you're in automatic, it's a very bright day, you'll see the camera closing that down, increasing your shutter speed and closing that lens down to an f8, f11, f16 maybe, to reduce the amount of light in, because it wants to get the best exposure it can. Well, the ND filter reduces the amount of light getting in, so perhaps you don't have to. You don't have to stop the lens down and close that aperture. Okay, so that's one reason for doing it. Now, ND filters have ratings. They're numbered: ND2, ND4, ND8, ND16, etc. And it doubles from there on out. There are some that are made in between, like an ND10. They're not as common. But the whole point is an ND2 means one stop of light. It reduces one stop of light. So if you're shooting at f2.8 and you put an ND2 filter over your lens, then the amount of light getting in will be the equivalent of one whole stop, so about an f4. But you haven't changed the lens, so you've still got the similar depth of field, the similar focus distance. So an ND4 would be 2 whole stops, and an ND8 is 3 stops, and an ND16 is 4 stops, and an ND32 is 5 stops, and it keeps on going like that. And if you're not quite sure, drop a comment. If you want to delve deeper into what is a stop, then because a stop can be shutter speed, a stop can be ISO, and a stop can be aperture. But that's how ND filters work. That's what they're for, and those are the ratings. ND2 is 1 stop, ND4 is 2 stop, ND16 is 4 stops of light. This particular one here has got some very, very small text on it, and it's also got a little label on here. It says this one is an ND64, which will reduce the amount of light getting in the camera by 6 whole stops. So that's quite a dark one, and very useful if you want to shoot with a shallow depth of field with your aperture wide open on a bright sunny day. Okay, so there are some filters also called color correction filters. Color correction filters are they're mostly used for analog cameras, because on an analog camera you can't really do that much with white balance. Okay, white balance is a thing that is very popular among digital cameras. Can't do it really. There isn't a white balance button on an analog camera. You get what you get, and it depends on the type of film you're using, but you can put color correction filters on, and they have ratings, and 2 popular ones is an 81A, which will warm an image, probably by adding a little bit of yellow. And there's another one called an 80B, and that one will cool your image slightly. So it's like changing your white balance by adding glass to the filter. Okay, so those are color correction filters. Now, one of my favorites is this one here. This is an infrared filter. Now, infrared filters, they block visible light, but at the same time allow infrared light into the camera. Now, we can't normally see infrared light, but your digital sensor can. Now, this is a little bit Ricoh centric now, because I have never seen another camera that can take infrared shots like the Ricoh with an infrared filter on. This is the Hoya R72. Again, links down below in the comments. Look at those videos down below. I'm out and about with a tripod in an old graveyard that's like 600 years old and photographing this marvelous big tree. Infrared filters. Okay, close-up filters. That's another piece of glass you can put in front of a lens, typically a lens like this. It's kind of a lens in itself, a close-up filter. It allows you to get closer to your subject, improving the macro capabilities of a lens. I've never seen one, but they're out there. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about close-up filters. Special and creative filters. Now, there are lots of these creative filters around. I would class the diffusion filter as a creative filter. It's doing something to the image that the lens wouldn't normally do. It's diffusing highlights and giving them a misty effect. And there are several others. Some of these filters in the creative category, they have etched kind of etched patterns in the glass. Some of them create starlight bursts on every highlight that you photograph, and some of them do other things. I once tried a little lens adapter that had like a diamond pattern in it, and what it did, it had a kaleidoscope effect of what you were photographing. So you got several multiple images, overlapping images of the subject that you were pointing the camera at. A bit of fun, but yeah, just a bit of creative fun. Nothing to really spend too much time on. So the last subject we're going to cover, I'm going to need to change the angle. We need to be able to see my iPad for this, the iPad screen, and we're going to be looking in monochrome photography. Okay, this is the last type of filter I've been looking at here, and you can see in the photo inlay here, these are glass color filters that were very popular for black and white cameras, black and white analog film cameras. And the most popular ones were red, orange and yellow. You also had green and blue filters and other shades. And what they would do, they would enhance black and white photography in certain ways, because it would darken. For example, a red filter would lighten anything that was red in the image considerably, and it would darken other things that were, for example, green and blue. And orange would do something similar, maybe to a lesser degree. The reason I'm showing you this homepage here, and I'll provide a link down in the description, this is because this has got a similar slider system to the filter effect that you can use in your Ricoh GR3 and your GR3X when shooting in monochrome. It has a filter that you can use to create a digital version of the colored glass filters we looked at earlier. So this slider here, it's in red, green and blue, like that, and we can add various colors, or we can turn up the red. So if you turn up red all the way, you just get a pure red. If you add a bit of green in there, now this is where it gets interesting, because one of the most popular color filters on the market is an orange color filter, and you can see we can create an orange color filter by mixing red on the max, green to a certain extent, and taking blue away, and then you get this nice orange. If you increase the green, you actually get yellow. So that's how mixing color works in light. This is light. When you add all the colors together, you get white. So you turn them all up that way, you get white. Take all the colors away, and you're basically switching off the light, and you get black. But red is a popular color filter. Orange, that's a popular one, and yellow is another one. And they have different effects because when you're adding green to your filter, you will be able to lighten things like trees, foliage, leaves, grass, and things like that. Red will lighten things that are red. Together, red and green filters that create an orange will lighten colors like terracotta. And removing blue and having a lot of red will deepen a blue sky. And that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to create a dramatic sky by darkening that blue and making it look all moody. Okay, so that's what this is for. It's just to show you, because we have the same kind of slides on the Ricoh GR3. I'll just get that so you can see. And I do encourage you to experiment with this and play around and find filters that you like. Profile here, if I go down to black and white and then hit the custom button and then go down to the filter, see, I can choose one of the predefined filters off over the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they will do different things to the image. But you can go in and you can customize that, and you have these similar sliders, red, green, and blue. And so you can customize the slider until you get a color filter of your choosing. Okay, so that's how that works. And that's why I'm showing you this video, this web page. Yeah, so here I am now with a beautiful view over this little town, and we've got a nice blue sky, as you can see up there, and some clouds. And what we're going for now is the color filters to really make this this blue sky dramatic. Reduce the blue and increase the reds, and the try and get like an red-orange filter, and take that blue out of the sky. And instead of it looking nice and peaceful, make it look all kind of stormy. So I'm shooting with the standard color profile in RAW Plus, and what I will do is I will just shoot in color for now, and then we will do some in-camera RAW development and apply the filters there, and you get several copies of the same image with different filter effects, different color filter effects. Okay, so these are the built-in color filters of the Ricoh GR3. And the same filters are in all of the other Ricoh GRs. Okay, and what's might be interesting about here, we've got some red roofs down there, green trees. So we will see how these color filters affect those other colors with the greens and the red, terracotta red down there, and the blue sky and the clouds. Okay, now for focusing here, I'm just going to go all the way down to an infinity focus, and I'm going to go up to F11 like that. So good deep depth of field. Turn up screen brightness. We're on multi-segment metering, so we're metering across the entire frame. White balance is on auto, and that is about it really. It's nice and bright today, so 1/25th of a second, f11, and it's shooting at ISO 100, so perfect really, lighting wise. So now we're going to get up here, just going to get that horizon level, take a shot like that. Don't have to focus on anything because we're using using infinity focus, so just like that. Again, that direction. We've got some more clouds over here. This one might look better. I'm just going to get that corner of that building out of the way like that. There's one shot. Now we're going to go over to the other side. Sun's to my right over here. And do the same thing over here. And we've got a glass barrier here. So I'm going to lift the camera up and shoot above that. Again, just get it level. I can shot in that direction. Gonna shoot a little bit into the sun. And then if I ever get that there like that, and then we're going to go up there in a minute, take a walk up to the top of the building, and we're going to look down over here. Again, just get that glass barrier out of the way for the most part. Get some of those clouds in, and we'll see what we can do with these clouds later. Okay, so now I'm just going to go up to the top of this building here now. Lovely. So, typical Danish houses, so lots of terracotta roofs and lots of green. Oh. And tilt it up, get more of the sky in. 2/3, like that. And over in this direction, the sound is probably terrible. Like that. And final shot, like that. So this is one of the images taken with the standard color profile with no filters whatsoever. Now I've switched the camera on using the playback button, so it's only in playback mode and it hasn't extended the lens. And now I'm going to hit the raw development button that's programmed on mine. Hit that, and we get the development options down here for cropping and doing other stuff. But I'm going to go into raw development now, and it will let me work on the raw file. So first off, I'm going to go down here and change the image control profile of the recipe to black and white. Not my own monotone black and white here, just the regular one, just so you can speed things up a little bit and start from a blank slate. So into that one, and I'm going to select that, and then while it's still an option, while it's still open on the menu here, I'm going to hit the FM button like that, and then we're going to go down to the filter effect. Now the filter effect is just like putting these glass filters in front of the lens, only we're only doing it digitally. We're not putting any glass in front, so this will not affect the raw file. It will produce a JPEG from the raw file with these changes applied. Okay, so I've got it on 1 right now. That's the filter off. Doesn't look very different. Filter on 1, 2, darkened it slightly. 3, ooh, nice, darkened it a little bit. 4, lightened it a bit. Now we can go in and we can customize any of these, because hiding behind this, if I hit the FM button one more time, you've got your sliders. That's all they are. And at the top, we got red, we got green, we got blue. And so we can go through these images now. And if I go down to blue first, this is a blue sky hiding behind this monochrome image. So we're going to reduce the blue. I'm going to go down 20, 30%. Oh, look at that, it's getting more dramatic already. Then the green, I'm going to reduce the green. That'll also make the whole image darker, but also the sky far more dramatic. And then to the red, I'm going to put the red about there. So we've got, in this particular sample now, I've got plus 110% for the red, plus 10% for the green slider, and minus 30% on the blue. And if anybody out there knows why these sliders are numbered this way, instead of like 0 to 100, but minus 30% up to 0 and then so on, please let me know in the comments, because I don't understand it. But it works. So I'm happy with that, with this part of the development to start with. So I'm going to hit OK there. And we could mess around with the contrast as well and apply a broader profile, but I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to stay with it as it is right now. I think it's a little dark in the bottom. If I say OK now, and then OK one more time. So now we've applied the black and white recipe to that color image. We haven't saved anything yet. Sensitivity is your ISO or your exposure. I'm going to increase that just a little bit, like that, just to bring it up a little bit lighter. And we're going to look at shadow correction. That is on low right now. I'm going to bump up the shadow correction just to lighten the foreground just a little bit there. It doesn't do a lot. It's not like Lightroom. You can really work on these DNG files from a Ricoh in something like Lightroom and really boost shadows and things. But I'll be happy with this. We're just doing a demo anyway. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to say okay. Data being processed. And that was one image raw developed. It finished there. And then you can see we've got a much more dramatic sky than what we started with. And I will finish off this video now by putting up some images as we go out and I stop talking. So here are some more from the rooftop. You've got the color version and a black and white converted version. Now, one more thing to remember, or one more thing to note here. If I go back into playback mode here, if I say to myself, I really like those settings now, I want to copy this filter and use it as I shoot on one of my black and white recipes. Well, if you hit the display button here so that you get max information, 1, 2, and there we have it. This row over the ISO and the F11 there, it says that's the filter icon, and you can see it's on, and it tells you the values of the 3 sliders. So if you make a note of those, you can create your own profile and save those slider values or filter values in your own recipe and use that whenever you go out. Okay, that's it. Bye for now. And I'll see you soon. I have a little video coming out because I want your I want your opinion on something. We're 3,000 subscribers now, which is fantastic. I thank you very much. Keep the questions coming. I love talking to you guys. You've all been very positive and very civil, and it's lovely. And so I feel confident in discussing some things with you. And it's about the purchase of another camera. I've sold a camera. I sold my main video camera and changed that with another one. I sold an Olympus camera that was a bit of an impulsive buy. I shouldn't have done that. It's gone now. But there's a hole in. I have 2 cameras now. That's it. And well, I have the old Minolta film camera as well. Don't use it very often. There's film in it, and occasionally I'll take it out. It's got a nice lens on, and a 50 f1.8. But I've got a question coming up about my next camera purchase. The one I really want is a bit of a unicorn, and yeah, I'll fill you in with the details in another video. So thanks. Bye for now, and I'll see you.